Hello, hello, everyone. My name is Kristen, aka Like Water, and I am super excited to welcome you to today's in session Curated Chaos Free Creativity with Aaron Gilbert Steele. Aaron is a percussionist producer based in the US who dabbles in many realms from electronic soundscapes and complex polyrhythmic jazz to whisper quiet Americana and the heaviest of alternative rock. You may have heard some of his work with Hayley Williams, A Paramore, Jose James, Portugal, The Man, Sam Drew, Chrome Sparks, and many others. So today, he's going to take us through how he utilizes chaos to arrive at what he calls the hypothesis. In other words, and I quote, starting with something that feels like something that could turn into something. So if you guys weren't already excited, I know you're excited now because I am. So please join me in welcoming Aaron Gilbert Steele.
Hey, what's up? What's up?
Hey, Aaron. Super excited to have you. This is going to be super incredible. So grateful for you.
Oh man, thank you so much. Um,
Awesome. So just a bit
uh,
before we jump in, and I'm
yeah.
gonna let you take it away because we're
Oh, go
excited to,
ahead,
to
go
let
ahead.
you get into this. So
No,
we
go
have
ahead.
Aaron's gonna cover free creativity for the first 45 minutes of our discussion, and then we're gonna leave some time at the end for open Q&A. If you guys have questions, be sure to drop them in the chat. A few housekeeping items. This is a supportive and uplifting space, so we want to make sure that we keep all dialogue in the chat as respectful as possible as we get into this discussion. Also, please feel free to use the chat to let us know where you're tuning in from. I saw someone from Alabama already jumping in, so just let us know where you're tuning in from, and any questions. Well, not questions, but any connections that you have to the topics that we're discussing. But make sure that you change the little blue bar at the bottom from to everyone so that we can see and be a part of the conversation and the discussion. All right. So if you have questions, there's a function at the bottom of the Zoom screen that is a little Q&A box that you can type in your questions, and we'll get to them toward the end, and then a short survey at the end to let us know how you enjoyed the webinar. So I am all done with the housekeeping items, and now I am passing it on to you, Aaron, and we're excited to hear what you got to share.
Well, I'm excited to share. Thank you for having me, and yeah. So first, it may sound a little esoteric to like try and find something that feels like something that can be something. It's more of like what inspires you? Like what is like what inspires you to the way I kind of look at the hypothesis of this is like what the hypothesis is like what is the thing that can become a song? What can what is like the inspiring moment that really kind of just like gets you like yo, I can hear a melody over this or I can really like just hear a song over this. And there have been a few. I come from like a really heavy jazz and kind of improvised music background. Initially, you know I start like my life initially what came from kind of like I was touring with like hardcore bands, and then like when I went to college I decided to move into like jazz and improvised music, and then I started playing a lot of pop music and things like that. But I really needed to figure out how to like meld those worlds together when I started working with other people, and one of the things that really kind of uh, was important to me was that like my creation was generative and it wasn't necessarily something that just came from like, oh yeah, I came up with this idea and I knew exactly what it was, because I think that a lot of the special things in music come from the mistakes that um, that the things that we can't really come up with on our own. So um, I don't feel like anybody is wholly responsible for whatever they create. I think that it comes from somewhere else, and we're just a vessel for it. So this is like a way to be uh, wholly open to creating in that way. or allowing creation to work through you in that way. Um, I'm gonna show a couple of examples of a couple just like instrumental tracks that I've uh, worked like made through this process. Um, some of them may sound a little funny at first, but then they kind of like turn into something. Uh, like uh, anyway, let's start with this first one here. Um, I am going to. This is a track that started off by me using a tape loop in order to um, with a violinist, and literally it sounded like insane chaos before I like messed around with it. Anyway, but this is a little beat I have that we're gonna play right now. All right, hold on. 1 second. Got to turn that warp off. Here we go. So like that initial track that you were hearing at the beginning of that came from like a complete cacophony of like a bunch of strings just like looping on top of each other. But it doesn't sound like strings at all. You know, and somehow I heard like this melodic thing in it, and then it ended up working out. And it's one of my it's one of those tracks for me that I really enjoy, just like even listening to. And this is another one that is just like something that came out of another chaos experience. Let's see. Once again, just like free form, something that turned into something that is fairly traditional sounding now, but initially it was just like kind of just some noise that I like into. I think most of the sounds that came from that came from like actually my voice, and then I manipulated it. So um, that that being said, I guess so. Let's start with um, I guess creating some chaos. So I did this a little earlier on, and so I wasn't doing this in front of you guys, but I filmed it, and I am going to share that film with you guys. So I need to do a little screen share here. Um, and uh, all right, so uh, I created um, I created a little video showing kind of like the process that I went through, which was I used a 4-track tape machine, and You don't need a tape machine in order to do this. It's just like the way I like to do it. Um, but here we go. Just like play a little of the video. Hey, got a fresh tape loop here. Got a fresh tape loop here, and I'm gonna make a little chaos for you, specifically for this little lesson that we have going on here. So, yeah, I'm not gonna overthink it. I have a timer for like 30 minutes, and we're just gonna go. Right now I have the mini log going through a couple pedals I have here on the ground. A little octave with the dry wet kind of blend, a little funny, and JHS color box and a Behringer vibrato. Sorry, I got unmuted myself. Muted myself. Mind you, what you got? Like, I don't play guitar at all. Like, and I, am just kind of free form going along with, like, kind of just like whatever is coming to me at the moment. And that what ended up coming out of that loop, or like the what was created from that time period, is this right over here. It kind of sounds like I don't exactly know, but I heard something in it, and I was kind of like, okay, like let's see where we're gonna go from here. And the like what I normally would do in a situation like this is kind of just like, what are my rules? Like I have a couple rules, like in when I'm trying to do things like this, where it's okay. Well, initial like create the initial chaos, which we would just did. The next thing after that is like, am I hearing any sort of rhythm or any sort of melodic thing in what's going on? And right now there's definitely a rhythm happening. So, um, like what I the first thing I'll try and do is see if I can bring that out in any sort of way. So right now, And I think and right now I'm using Ableton Live for those who are wondering what DAW I'm using. Uh, it's just for me, it's like one of the easiest when trying to be as creative as possible without having to worry about too much of the other aspects of stuff. Anyway, but I'm hearing a rhythm in this. This is not in any sort of time. It's not in time with anything specifically because I didn't warp it to be in any sort of tempo, and I played it all freeform and recorded it freeform. So like, I'm just gonna start messing with this, and the first thing I'll do is see this is if it works in a tempo. So let's see. I'm gonna turn on a click and uh, let's see where we're at. All right. So right now, I'm I'm gonna cut this a little bit and just start messing around. And the first thing I'll do is warp this guy and just let's see what quantize does. I have no idea. I'm just gonna loop one of them. And actually, I'm gonna change the algorithm to see if like anything just strange happens if I. It's just like trying to find things that just inspire me out of this. So like. That's really interesting. So I like that. So I'm gonna duplicate this one more time, see if, and maybe try a different algorithm on this next one. Sounds insane, I know. I might mess around with where I'm putting it in the stereo field. And then now I'll start messing around with how I'm even hearing the rhythm. So like, so let's see, let's chop it up. And all right, so let's just duplicate that right now. And something I like to do when I'm working, I'm not afraid of committing things just because it makes it easier to work as audio sometimes because then you don't have to sometimes when you are working on things and there are multiple layers to it of like processing that you have to go back to, one thing will change another and it will make it harder to kind of retrace your steps. So I honestly I just make duplicates of things and commit them in order to just like have a little bit more freedom. It's like I'm just working with one source of audio right now. So so I froze and flattened these tracks. So now I can pitch them however I would like to. sick. I'm really enjoying this. Okay, cool. Here we go. Let me add a couple of these right here. So, uh, pitch these a little bit, pitching them up, see if I can find a totally chaotic at first. Let's see if let's see. Let me go down a few semitones and see if it feels like anything is speaking to me. That's actually pretty sick. So with that, let's group these guys together and see if we are finding any sort of like effect or anything. Just let's see if we can make that kind of a long. I want to elongate these sounds a little bit, just in order to sort of, I don't know, trying to like really figure out if I can hear sort of even more. I chopped it up short in order to like feel the beginning of it, but let's see if we can hear. I'm gonna add some verb. I'm using the Valhalla. Let's use the shimmer because it has a lot of pitch up, pitch down. Seeing if I'm hearing anything melodic in there. I mean, sometimes maybe I still want to change this a little bit because it's it's feeling it's feeling good, but there's just a couple things in here that are just not sitting exactly well with me. So maybe like, seeing if I can hum along something to it. And I mean, yeah, I'm actually very much enjoying this. So, like, let me see if I can add something else from the loop into that situation that we've been messing with already. So let's listen back to the original version of it, not pitched around. All right. Maybe that part. Here we go. Okay. So, all right. Let's go down here. messing around in this loop section. All right. Actually, that shimmer's a little much, you know. Don't be afraid to like go back on an idea too. So all right. So let's. I'm muting the beginning of that because I only kind of want the end right now. All right, and actually, let's bring that down here. And sorry, I gotta organize this a little bit. All right, here we go. All right, so oh, this guy's on. Sorry. Maybe bring the shimmer onto this. And something I would like to do a lot is kind of affect things with um, sort of just like basic things like EQ in order to like sort of shape a little bit uh, of kind of like give it a little bit more space if I'm going to be using if I'm going to be putting anything else on top of this. So right now I'm going to cut the lows a little bit on this. Yeah. And you know, I'm like hearing something in this, so I'm just like, all right, cool. Let's I like recorded some drums earlier and I can play a little vid of like me kind of searching around for kind of uh a few like I was also just kind of improvising while I was trying to figure out like some groove stuff and I think that there's kind of something in here, so I'll just play this like little tiny quick video uh, of me doing that, and here we go. Um, View and need that video window. Here we go. All right, um, so that was me kind of just figuring out some grooves, and I think the last one there was kind of my favorite. So I sort of like mixed it a tiny bit, uh, so I could. I just mixed it a tiny bit so I could, like, if there was a extra vibe of it. So let me see. Let me get a little bounce of that that I have from my work stuff. Uh huh. Obviously, we are doing this. Uh huh. All right, here we go. Dropping this in. Let's see if it fits at all. Oh yeah, Oh yeah, I got a lot of here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Saha. Different tempos. This can be part of the chaos, honestly. All right, so what I'm gonna do now with this groove that I brought in, let's see. Let's see. Let's pitch it down. See if this is a thing. All right, so then let's see. Yeah, yeah. All right, cool. So this is the is I'm chopping up the groove in order to like kind of just find a vibe that I'm really digging on it. So here we go. Let's see if this works. Yeah, something that I probably wouldn't have come up with initially. So let's see. Yeah, sick. All right. Let's see if this works. Maybe move timer a little bit around. Let's see. All right. All right, here we go. All right. I am hearing a little bit of movement in a good way. Let's. Yeah. All right. And here's this coming up with like kind of interesting rhythms in order to kind of like inspire just anything different. Um, all right. And even if you're starting off somewhere, you're kind of like, let's see. All right. Somewhere. It's getting somewhere. And this is like feeling pretty much like something to me that can be kind of like, okay, I'm hearing a little bit of a melody. I'm really digging kind of like the angularness of the groove. And, you know, like at the moment, it's kind of like one of those things where like I totally would explore this a bit more. Uh, let's see. Yeah, this is definitely kind of like in a direction that for me is kind of like just kind of really interesting. So like I would actually just like chase this down probably for a while, just trying to figure out like, oh, like is this something that I'm really enjoying, you know? And at the moment, I'm very much enjoying this. So like, you know, this is kind of the thing. This is like inspiring me, you know. Is this yeah, just can you if you can hear the music in it, it's like that's the goal is like when you're getting to when you're getting to a zone and you're just like, okay, well, do I hear anything in this? This is like the beginning of the song. This is the hypothesis to me. This is like where like you're like, okay, cool. Like I I can definitely hear something in this. Like are we like do we need just a few more elements, or am I just trying to figure out, or am I like trying, yeah, like do we need a few more elements? I think so, obviously, to like make this actual song or something. But right now this is the thing. At least to me it is. But uh yeah. Um I hope that was cool. um yeah. Basically just trying to, yeah, uh just trying to frame the chaos. Yeah, thank you. uh yeah. Yeah, and if anybody has any questions, I know that there's probably going to be some. uh
Ah, sorry,
oh, sorry.
guys. I'm
Oh,
here.
no, no, it's okay.
No
Oh, no,
worries.
it's okay.
No,
Yeah.
so this is incredible. Like, absolutely, absolutely amazing. I was like sitting here bopping my head, like just vibing with it. Like, I can't wait to hear what this becomes if you choose to move forward with this idea.
Yeah, I probably will, to tell you the truth. Because it's definitely hitting some spots for me.
Amazing. Yes, it's hidden for me too. So I'll be definitely on the lookout for
Okay.
that. So we do have a few quick questions that came through. Um, we have, what do you do when you commit to something like flattening a track and then you don't love it?
Oh man, that's happened a million times in my life, and like what I usually do is that I'll like make a duplicate of it and commit it. Um, So I have the original, but um, just in case, uh, I just in case I do want to go back and like maybe like retweak the original thing. But that being said, I more often than not try and figure out a way to make the thing that I wasn't really digging into something I dig,
Mm.
because like I've there's been a lot of experiences that I've had where like I've hated something and then I just come back to it and it's like, oh wow, like maybe I was just in a space, but like this thing is actually really special.
I love
Um,
that.
and I think, you know, sometimes like your ears are just tired and you just can't hear the special thing in the thing that you're doing at the moment. But otherwise, but I do have like one copy of the original in order to like go back just in case, but that rarely happens. It's because, I feel like we're our own worst critics, so I feel like most of the time that we should at least be like, okay, like, oh man, yeah, I did that thing for a reason, like um, th-
Absolutely.
there's no wrong answers. That's the thing, what we do is entirely subjective. Um, so like the only thing you can do is just be as honest with yourself as possible.
Perfect. And never scrap
Yeah.
anything because your ears could just be tired and you could just be, you know, you could love it
One
tomorrow.
1,000%, because that's happened like a couple times, like where I've heard a bounce of something and I'm just like, yo, that was dope. Oh, I scrapped that because I thought it was terrible initially. And it's like, um,
Awesome. We have another question from
okay.
Drew that says, what is your process for creating tape loops?
Mm. Um, well, the tape loops themselves, the actual tape loops, I just buy the tape loops. But the process was sort of what you saw in the video. I just literally just play kind of whatever. I mean, I don't play guitar at all, and like I was playing guitar into the tape loop, and I was kind of just like seeing if there were any tones that I was hearing, or kind of just playing things that are definitely not traditionally in the key of the thing or whatever, kind of just searching,
Mm.
um, and just letting the loop just continue and keep playing over things, and then until like I usually max it out at about like 3 tracks and 3 to 4 tracks, and then I just start blending from there to see which of the tracks are vibing with each other, at least for me,
Mm.
and then I just sort of uh, then I mess around with the EQ on board a little bit to see if there's anything special in that as well. But honestly, it's like just completely improvised into the loop, usually with instruments that I don't play,
Mm.
uh, because I just want to get myself out of the zone, that like out of my comfort zone, in order to create something new. If that makes any sense.
Mm. Absolutely, absolutely. That makes complete sense. And it's like
Yeah.
almost like giving yourself permission to like not know a thing and then create a thing from something that you don't even know because you don't technically quote unquote play.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think that there's a lot of creativity in being a novice, if that makes any sense.
Mm. Hmm.
Because there's like something special in like being excited about a new instrument or excited about a new skill set that you're not necessarily the best at, but it's something that you're searching for. So when
Mm.
instead of just like default, like, yeah, I'm gonna play A minor seven to a C, like it's like,
Yeah. You get stuck in
you
your
know,
known grooves or in your known,
exactly,
yeah,
yeah,
patterns.
exactly.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that is kind of the zone that that I come from when I'm working in the tape loop situation.
Perfect. All right, we're almost at the hour. We have time for one more question. Um, we have a question that says, "Are you worried about being off grid or off the click at this stage in the creative process?"
Uh, Sometimes it depends on what I'm trying to do. So if I'm uh I do like to work on the grid primarily, but that's because of a lot of the music that I work on. I'm working on like pop music or like like pretty traditional sensitive music that other people have to work on, and it
Mm,
just makes it easier to edit for them and stuff like that. That's the reason I do it, uh, but I try not to start from that place. I usually just like work and then kind of get it into a zone later that may work on the grid a little later. And sometimes some really
mm.
special stuff comes from that, from like quantizing it, or like things will like mess up and I'll, yo, that's actually a vibe, that's part of the chaos for me. Uh is that like, okay, this is like really kind of just a really special zone. This thing sounds great on its own. I just quantize it. There's that one part that's really messed up, but that messed up part actually is the hook now. It's like that's the hook for me.
Absolutely. It like made it its own thing, all
Yeah,
like
exactly.
entirely.
Yeah.
I love that.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
This, Aaron, this has been an absolute pleasure to watch you create, to feel inspired and almost like given permission to just do stuff until it sounds great to you.
Oh,
This
man,
was a wonderful.
thank you. I just hope that more people believe in themselves enough to just like let themselves go.
Mhm.
You know, that's all I can hope for, honestly. You know.
Absolutely. We appreciate you. We've dropped Aaron's link on Instagram into the chat, so feel free to copy and paste that. Go ahead and follow him, connect with him there. It has been our absolute pleasure. I am Kristen, aka Like Water. This was In Session. Aaron Gilbert Steele has just given us all of these gems, so please, please, please stay connected. And until next time, we are happy to have been here with you guys.